Have you ever scrolled through your feed and felt like you're the only person not making 10K a month? Social media creates this distorted reality where 22-year-olds are driving Lamborghinis and everyone seems to hit millionaire status by lunch. But back in the real world, you're doing mental math at 3 a.m., wondering if that four-digit savings account will ever turn into a retirement fund. My name is John, and I've spent years deconstructing the math of wealth. I've looked at thousands of portfolios, and let me tell you, what you see on Instagram is a lie. Real wealth isn't a flash of lightning. It's a slow-burning fire. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the real wealth timeline. We're going to look at the exact ages most people hit 100K, 500K, and the legendary $1 million mark. But more importantly, we're going to look at the acceleration phase, the moment where your money stops crawling and starts flying. If you're tired of feeling behind the curve, hit that subscribe button. Let's look at the data that nobody wants to admit. Remember, if you don't understand the timeline, you will always be a slave to the clock. You need to know where you stand, you need to know where you are going, and most importantly, you need to know why most people fail before they even start the engine. Let's dive deep into the architecture of your future empire. Let's start with the milestone that feels like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. The first $100,000. According to recent 2024-2025 data, the average age to hit this is 29 to 32 years old. But here's the brutal truth. For 95% of people, this is the most painful, exhausting, and soul-crushing part of the journey. Why? Because you are doing 100% of the heavy lifting. At this stage, compound interest is a tiny baby. It isn't helping you yet. Every single dollar in that 100K came from your sweat, your overtime, and your sacrifices. Let's look at a real-life example. Meet Sarah. Sarah is 24, living in a high-cost city, earning $60K a year. After taxes, rent, and those expensive lattes everyone talks about, she has almost nothing left. Sarah feels like she's running on a treadmill. For 3 years, her net worth barely moves. She saves $500 a month. By year 3, she has $18,000. It feels like a joke. She looks at the 100K goal and thinks, this will take me 20 years. But Sarah stays disciplined. She cuts her rent by getting a roommate. She starts a side hustle. She understands that the first 100K is a test of character. John here to tell you, in your 20s, every dollar you save feels like a sacrifice. You are fighting student loans, you are fighting rising rents, and you are fighting the massive temptation of lifestyle inflation. But 100K is the escape velocity. It's the psychological barrier that separates those who are hoping for wealth from those who are building an empire. You have to push the boulder. You have to grind. You have to endure the silence of the early years, because that silence is where your freedom is being forged. This is where the math gets weird, in a good way. It usually takes a decade of grinding to save your first $100,000, but to go from 100K to 250K, most people do it in just 4 to 5 years, typically by age 34 or 35. Wait, let's stop and think about that. You just added $150,000 in half the time it took to save your first $100,000. How is that possible? Is it magic? No. This is the snowball effect in action. At 200K, if you have a decent 8% market return, your portfolio is giving you $16,000 a year just for existing. Think about Sarah again. Now she's 31, she hit her 100K. Now suddenly her money is earning more in the market than she was able to save in her first 2 years of working. Her contributions haven't changed, but her capital has started to breathe. Suddenly your money is working a part-time job for you. You aren't just a worker anymore. You are a manager of your own capital. As I always say, the first 100K is a struggle, but the next 100K is a breeze. It's a shift from active labor to passive momentum. You are no longer just pushing the snowball. The snowball is starting to pull you down the mountain. By age 38 to 42, the high achievers hit $500,000. This is the breakout point. This is the moment where the engine is fully primed. If your portfolio earns 8% now, it's generating $40,000 a year. Let's look at Mark. Mark is 40. He's a middle manager. He earns $90K a year. But Mark has been a consistent investor for 15 years. His 500K portfolio is now dropping 40K a year in growth. That is nearly half of his salary. Mark realizes something profound. His money is now earning more than most entry-level employees make at his company. His money is working 24/7. It doesn't take sick days. It doesn't ask for a raise. It doesn't get tired. This is when the psychology of wealth shifts. You stop caring about getting rich and start focusing on staying free. Only 17% of American households ever reach this level. If you are here, you are officially in the financial elite. You start to realize that your job is now optional. You stay because you want to, not because you have to. You have effectively bought back 50% of your time. This is the power of the machine John wants you to build. It's not about the 500K. It's about the 40K income stream that liberates your life. It's about the freedom to say no to a boss you don't like. It's about the freedom to spend time with your kids. This is where the grind ends and the life begins. The millionaire mark. The average age is 49. But in 2025, the landscape is split. We see a financial caste system forming. High-earning millennials are hitting $1 in their late 30s thanks to tech and early investing. Meanwhile, the median family is struggling because of a rent trap, where housing costs are eating the seeds of their future wealth. But here is the part that will keep you awake at night. Reaching $1 million is hard, yes. But the jump from $1 to $2, it typically takes only 7 to 10 years. Think about the gravity of that statement. The first million took you 25 years of your life. The second million took less than 10. Why? Because $1 million at 8% is $80,000 a year. By the time you add your own savings, you are adding 100K plus to your net worth every single year without even trying. This is why the rich get richer. The math literally makes it harder to stay poor once you have momentum. John's advice? Focus on the math. Ignore the noise. The first million is a mountain. The second million is a slide. The third million is a leap. Wealth is exponential, not linear. Most people fail because they expect linear results. They expect to work twice as hard for twice the money. But in the world of investing, you work hard once to build the machine, and then the machine does the work for you. So, where do you stand on this timeline? If you're 25 with 10K, you're winning the early game. If you're 35 with 200K, you're on a rocket ship. But if you're behind, if you're 40 and just starting, don't panic. The biggest mistake isn't starting late. It's not playing the game at all. Wealth in 2025 isn't about working harder. It's about owning more. Own stocks, own real estate, own the machines that print money. Stop checking your investment app every 5 minutes. Stop worrying about the daily news. Start focusing on your savings rate. Start focusing on your consistency. If you want the exact blueprint for the 4-pillar portfolio we discussed in the last video, the strategy that can cut years off these timelines, click the link on the screen now. Let's turn your 3 a.m. mental math into a calculated, gold-plated reality. My name is John, and I'm here to make sure you don't just survive the economy. I want you to own it. I'll see you in the next video.